Here's a story, sad but true, a story you were never taught in school, of a few brave men dressed in blue. Buffalo soldiers, who are you? Some say Native Americans gave you your name for the bravery you showed like their favorite game. Up in the morning before daylight, riding all day until the dead of night. Buffalo soldiers, who are you? Brave and sturdy, dressed in blue. Biting cold, howling wind, sagebrush and burrs against your skin. 40 miles you rode today with the mighty Rockies in your way. Buffalo soldiers, who are you? Gallant warriors strong and true.
The Buffalo Soldiers' story really begins with the Civil War. The men who became Buffalo Soldiers had been former slaves. When the Civil War broke out, the men who worked on the plantations got a chance to join the Army. They volunteered for the Army. Some fought for the Union, and others fought for the Confederacy. There were 180,000 soldiers who were black, who fought for the Union during the Civil War. And over 30,000 of those men lost their lives. When the war was over, these men who had been volunteer soldiers got a chance to join the regular army. They got a chance to get paid for their services, and they gained a little bit of pride. These men who had been volunteers during the Civil War became the first Buffalo Soldiers. They protected settlers, they built railroads, they caught rustlers, and they dealt with the so-called Indian problem. That was their job. And they did that job the very best that they could possibly do. And we tell their story.
That's the trot. Up. Right. That's right. Up.
Just right.
Come on up. Flank right. Flank right. Up.
My name is Michael Trapasso, and I'm from Bowling Green, Kentucky. But about once a year, roughly, I come in and work with the Buffalo Soldiers here at Fort Lupton. What some people don't realize is that the Buffalo Soldiers were commanded mainly by white officers who were appointed by Congress, incidentally, as well as the reverends for the units as well. To me, it's important to work with units like this in order to give a historical perspective as to what it was like in the 1870s and 1880s during the Indian Wars and during the expansion westward. So I kind of consider myself more as a living historian. Actually, all of us are, even more than that, we're kind of walking exhibits that people will come to us all we have to do is sometimes just stand around, and people will come to us and ask us questions about, well, it could be anything from how hot is that uniform to, what kind of weapons are you using, what kind of tactics are you using, what was the purpose of the Buffalo Soldiers, what kinds of things did they do out west. And so it's a situation for us to essentially educate the public, but do so in a fun way, in a living history kind of way. And I think that's about as effective a teaching tool and a learning experience for the public as you can have.
I've been a member of this unit since 2003, about 11 years now, and I'm so proud to be a part of it, primarily because this group is dedicated to telling the history of the Buffalo Soldiers and honoring men who have not been honored in the history books to the degree that they probably should have been. We do about 50 different performances a year, and our performances are basically lessons in history and lessons in what the Buffalo Soldiers have been all about. (1860s). We use all the commands and all the drills from that time period. Our uniforms are authentic from that time period, and basically you'll see that the men wear uniforms from essentially the 1860s. Our horses are decked out in McClellan saddles with authentic blankets as they were in the day. Interestingly enough, their saddle blankets were also their bed blanket at night.
That's the truck! Oh.
William Cathy became a soldier in 1866. For 2 years, he marched as a soldier with the 38th Infantry. He became ill and had to see the post doctor. The doctor found that William Cathy was really Cathy Williams, the only documented female Buffalo soldier.
My name is Jonas Felix. I am Corporal Jonas Felix with the Buffalo Soldiers of the American West. I am not a living historian. I think I call myself a connect the dots historian, because as you go through and you start learning things, you learn about what the Army was, but then you learn about what segment that the Buffalo Soldiers had to play in the Army. The part that you begin to realize, and I think of this as a black man, is that when you realize what the cavalry was, and you heard things like, "Here comes the cavalry," to understand that 1 in every 5 cavalry person was a black troop. And that gives you a sense of pride, because to this day, we still use the term, "Here comes the cavalry," as a sign of rescue.
Pour me some of that. Damn. Somebody fine Philly. Some of that. Hey, little darling. Hey.
No, she's not. Step back.
Yeah, you said her over. She's over here. Come on, little.
Then I'm willing to have your whip on over here. You go away. You go away.
Hey, easy now. Come on, we're just having a good time. Give me some whiskey. Give me some whiskey. Give me some whiskey.
Go get the soldiers! Go get the soldiers! Hurry!
Yeah, get the soldiers, but you best bring a bunch. That's horse piss. What do you call that?
You owe me for that whiskey. You're right, I do.
Drop your weapons.
Our organization, the Buffalo Soldiers of the American West, was created almost 30 years ago. Like the original Buffalo Soldiers, our members are volunteers from all walks of life with one common goal: to tell the story as accurately as possible of the men who came before.